Welcome into the Broncos Breakdown Week 2 preview. With the Houston Texans coming to town, we're going to get the latest on the injury front. Now, we don't have the exact ins and outs for Sunday just yet, as we're not at Sunday just yet. But we're going to run through everything we know so far, and I'll kind of give predictions on what I think is likely going to happen for some of these guys. So let's start on the Broncos side of things before we get to any keys to the game and all that good stuff. Broncos KJ Hamler did not practice Wednesday or Thursday. I think this is just rest. He played on Monday night. I think he'll play again against the Texans and likely will be limited again. Josey, Jewell still dealing with the calf. He did not practice. That is concerning. I don't feel like he is trending in the right direction to play. Quinn Meinerz, he's going to miss a couple of weeks. He's just not on IR, so likely unable to play this week, maybe week 3 at the earliest. Randy Gregory, this is clearly just the old veteran. We're going to give you some time off and limited participation as you work back from a shoulder and knee injury. Deshaun Williams, he has been limited with a back injury. He is likely to play along with K'Wan Williams, who exited the Week 1 matchup with the Seahawks for a little bit due to a wrist injury. He was limited during Thursday's practice. He should be good to go. Billy Turner, some good news. Full participant. That is great to see. I expect him to be out there with the starting other 5 or 4 other offensive linemen at that right tackle spot. If he's unable to go, if he just tests things out, tests the knee out during warmups and says, I'm not quite there yet, it'll be Cam Fleming. And then Justin Simmons, unfortunately, on IR, as we know. Now, the Texans, meanwhile, they come in a bit more healthier, and they also are not having any serious injuries at key players. Justin Britt, not injury-related. He did not practice, but outside of those guys, no real household names, no major starters or contributors who are dealing with an injury right now. So Houston has a slight edge, if you will, at that spot right now. But the Justin Simmons injury, it's just been a run of injuries, honestly. Starting with Tim Patrick, Jonas Griffith, and then you get Josey, Jewell, and now Justin Simmons. It's just been the Broncos curse for a while. So if you hate injuries, like the video. I think this is something we can all rally around. Let's get into my keys to the game, though, all right? I like to have some fun with my keys to the game and not just be vanilla and say, win the turnover battle. Oh, shit, Sherlock. Aggressive start to the game. This is actually contradicting what I said for my last preview, which is be a bit conservative. Don't try to bite off more than you can chew and get the Seahawks fan base really into this game. You're at home now. The cobwebs are out from the preseason. It's time to rock and roll and go 120 miles an hour because the Broncos' first 10 plays, which every team basically scripts their first 10 plays, they clearly wanted to be a bit conservative and not go for the deep ball and go for the home run and have it end up being intercepted or a quick 3 and out. Look at the first 10 plays against Seattle. Short pass, run. One deep pass, run, short pass, false start, run, short pass, field goal. It got him points. I'm not knocking it, okay? I'm actually encouraging that for the start of this game for week 1. Now it's time to let Russ cook, though, right? Now it's time to get the ball down the field. You traded for him because you want to get Jerry Jeudy and Courtland Sutton some 50-yard touchdown bombs, which we saw later on in the game with Jeudy. Let's go 4 verts. Let's go full-on Madden mode, right? Let's air this puppy out to start the game and come out here and punch Houston in the mouth. I think that is the better way to go about this game. Be aggressive, right? Put that blunder from Monday night behind you and don't let yourself fall into the trap of lost last week and now we're off to a slow start this week. Is the sky falling? No, I want to see it to be 14-0 after the first quarter. Now this Texans defense, they're going to try and stop Denver from doing that. And they do have some playmakers. I think this defense is going to be very different in week 18 than week 2. I think they're going to dramatically improve throughout the season. Derek Stingley, he's going to be one of the best corners in football if he stays healthy. I loved the pick of Jalen Petrie. They're starting 2 big rookies in their secondary. take advantage of them being rookies early in the season before they get their feet underneath them. Let's let them learn the hard way what it's like to play a superstar quarterback in Russell Wilson. My second key to the game, don't let Dameon Pierce beat you. This is their 4th-round pick out of Florida, who they have been raving about since OTAs and into training camp and into preseason. If Davis Mills ends up beating you, I will be shocked because he's only really got one receiver to throw to, and that's Brandon Cooks. And Patrick Surtain is going to be all over Brandon Cooks in this game. So once you take out sort of the passing game, then they might look to the run game. And the Broncos, I wouldn't say they struggled against the run against Seattle, but in the first half they did, and then Denver's defense quietly dominated in the second half against the Seahawks. But when we look at this Texans offense, it's not filled with huge playmaking ability talent. Davis Mills, it's fun to make jokes against his long neck. He's quietly been a pretty decent quarterback his last 8 or 9 starts. In fact, we can actually pull up what the Houston Texans turnaround has been. But Dameon Pierce, this is a player I do not want to see take over the game. He was quiet in week 1. If you had him on your fantasy team, you know what I'm talking about. But Dameon Pierce is a player that if he starts to get going, he might look like the rookie running back everyone's been raving about. But this is what I mean here. The Texans turnaround. What they did to start last season, where they were the laughingstock of the NFL, averaging 2 touchdowns a game and allowing 4 touchdowns, it's not the same Texans team, guys. Since the end of their bye week last season, all the way through week 1 of this year, they're averaging 5 more points per game, and they are giving up 5 fewer points per game. Not saying this Texans team is going to be a cakewalk or that you should, not saying they're unbeatable, but just keep it in your back of your head. This is not the Texans team poke fun of. They suck. They are a disaster. They've been hanging with some tough teams lately. Just keep that in mind. Now, if you are ready to see the Broncos win and pick up their first W of the 2022 season, especially at home in front of Broncos Country, loud and proud, hit that sub button. Just don't jinx it, right? Just don't be the guy in the fourth quarter thinking, if I just hit that one subscribe button, how different this game could be. If you're superstitious or just a little stitious, hit the subscribe button. My next key to the game. I'm just pretty frankly honest with you guys. Hackett, if you're watching, which you should be, don't F this up, right? I mean, I don't need to say more. This is one of those moments where if you, in your workplace, you've got someone who's beneath you and that's training and they make a huge mistake and you're like, well, you know what you did? It's kind of like when a dog poops inside and they're like close to a year old. You're like, they look at you like, I know, dude. I shouldn't have done that. I don't need to tell Hackett what he doesn't need to do again. Just no more penalties. 12 penalties in week 1 was way too much. And go for it on 4th down. Right? I think we're all on the same page. We know what I'm talking about here. I don't need to elaborate much more. Hackett, the coaching staff needs to be better in this week 2 matchup. They were not all that bad in week 1, actually. I know it's easy to rip on them for kicking it on 4th down, but they shut out Seattle in the second half. They got the ball down. They picked up tons of yards against Seattle. They just could not execute in the red zone. Clean up those details, which really isn't even on the coaching staff. That's on ball security from the running backs. But nevertheless, they need to clean some things up, and they should be good to go. Before we send you on your way to enjoy the rest of your weekend, predict the score for me. Let me know who you got winning this one, Broncos or Texans, and by how much. Get those score predictions down below in the comments section. And if you made it to the end of the video, Broncos Country, give me a let's ride down below.